Hi everyone, today we're going to do a video on the Microsoft Surface. This is a Surface Pro 4 and I'm going to have a look at this using it with Ableton Live. Now I've got Live 9 here, haven't upgraded to Live 10 yet because I'm not quite happy with the price, but we'll talk about that in another time. And I've also got, as you can see, I've bought this brand new, an Arturia Audio Fuse. So what we're going to do is we're going to try all this out and see how good a touch surface is for Ableton Live. I'm not the first person to do videos on this on the internet, so I'm not, trying to claim that I was, it's not anything like that. This is just me showing you kind of the things that I like to muck around with. So we are going to, I think the first thing we're going to do is we'll probably disconnect the keyboard. Now the audio fuse is not turned on at the moment. So let's do that. I've got the output of the audio fuse recording into the audio of the video, so that's what these two cables are here for. We're not using MIDI at the moment, so we'll leave that aside. First thing we'll do is we'll just talk about the Surface briefly, and then I'll go into why this is actually a pretty cool sort of setup. At the moment we've got it plugged into power, but this whole thing, including the audio fuse, is completely portable. There's a few gotchas with it though. The battery life of this is probably starting to degrade. It's quite an old one. This is about 3 years old. Why I've chosen the Surface Pro 4 is because at the moment these things are about $300 used on the second-hand market. So, if you wanted to have like a mobile recording setup, this is actually a pretty cool thing. Another thing is that if we can show you with it just running on battery. So there's the power cord disconnected, and you can see here there's the battery icon, and we'll also use the audio fuse, and we'll do that just purely on USB power. So you can see that audio fuse is not powered, and let's see if we can see the audio fuse. It's already got the audio fuse there. Let's just get a basic drum rack. Okay, we're thinking. Still thinking. This is, these things we need to kind of not sure what it's doing here. Oh, it's done it. Okay, it just took a little while. So you can see some of the things with this takes a bit of processing, and it's not like, a desktop sort of level power. The newer Surface, if you've got the money, the newer Surfaces are a lot faster than you can get Core i7 ones. Another thing I want to do is I want to use because I'm not using a keyboard, I want this to be a complete touch surface type feel when I want to use the pen, or I actually want to use my fingers. But one thing I've found is that if you get there's a little toolbar you can get, which I didn't come up with this idea, I got it from another YouTuber, but you can configure these toolbars to have shortcuts, and these shortcuts are normal keyboard shortcuts that you would have in Ableton. So for example, you might want to change the view. Now I know you can just tap this over here to arrange it to a session, okay, but I don't know, just browser, turn it off, on and off. And in here, if I click on that, and if I click on clip, that's actually really handy. I can go up to the menu. I just find the menu a little bit hard to get to. But anyway, the other thing too I mentioned is that in Ableton, I've changed an options.txt file, and I've used absolute mouse mode, I think it's called. I will link in the description for that as well. On the Surface, if you click on this little icon here, you've got this option here called tablet mode. I don't necessarily think this needs to go into tablet mode because I tend to like the normal desktop experience personally. I'm not a huge fan of the tablet mode, but it could be benefits. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have got one of these and you're using it with Ableton and the tablet mode's better or not. All right, so let's have a look at how. This is really the first time, but here's our drum track here, right? And let's just do a quick, so we'll go into pencil mode. Another thing too is I can do pencil mode by clicking draw there, and then bang, 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 how quick is that? And let's get some closed hi-hats. So we want to go, and this is just a really boring standard drum beat. Let's try it out. So let's press play on here. There we go. We've got sound now. How loud was it? It's quite loud here, but how loud was it in my... I can turn that right up. There you go. That's better. This knob is actually really cool how big it is. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to look at, I want to put like a piano type or keys type thing. Now one of the things we can do with this is minimize this when we don't want to use it, which is good. It gets out of the way. You might think, oh, it's in the way of your browser. Well, it's minimized now, and I'll show you how to get it back. By the way, there's a link in the description on how to get that application. So let's just get a analog brassy ensemble. Now, there seems to be a bit of a delay with, yeah, you go, see? It's probably just the processing power. This is only a dual core, Core i5 in this, so you can get Core i7s. I need to go to create a new, so if I click on that and I get my toolbar back up and I go clip, it creates a clip for me. And let's have a bit of pencil mode, and let's do a bit of random. This is completely random. Okay, that sounds absolutely terrible, but please don't judge me on that. But that's actually really easy to, you know, to manipulate notes in here. Okay, let's see what this is like with some effects. So we've got, what have we got now? Delay. Okay, let's try it just with the insets. I don't really like that sound either. Let's try more a synth key type thing. It's really easy to adjust these. Like, I've never seen it that easy. I've done it with a mouse before, and this is just purely fluid. Look at that, that is gorgeous. These pots here, very, very, very easy and fluid to change. So let's just have a listen to the delay. So now we've got these two clips recorded in the arranger view. Okay, so that's all pretty good. So far I'm actually really impressed with this, and we're running this whole thing on battery. You know, but for the video, just I don't want this thing to run out of battery, so let's... The AudioFuse does choke quite a bit of battery, what I've been told. When you do plug it into a power source, it restarts itself. Okay, let's go back to here. Next thing I want to do is I want to bring another instrument in, and I actually want to try the inputs on this out and let's see what it's like recording it. So I've got an OP-1 here, and we're going to plug the OP-1 in straight into our inputs in the front. Boom, boom, like that. Now we've got our input gains. Turn the OP-1 on. Oh, actually, you know what? Another thing I want to try out is I don't actually need to power the OP-1 at the moment because it's all fully charged. But this actually has a USB hub on it. So let's chuck the OP-1. Now remember, the OP-1 is a class compliant device, so we shouldn't have to install anything on here. Okay, and we're going to turn it on. Bang. I've never ever plugged in an OP-1. So let's go to the synth. It's now registered as a MIDI device. Now that's beautiful for me because I want the OP-1 to be synced to the Ableton. So sync mode. It's not syncing. That might be because I need to send it sync. That might help. Okay. Let's make this all in the key of C. Okay, let's try it. Got this running. Let's record. Ready, set, go. This thing's making a lot of noise. Why am I getting that stuttery? I reckon it's to do with this preferences. So it's on wave. Let's change it to AZA. Yep. Yep. Much better. All right, now we can go into our arpeggiation. Just to get some of an idea of how it sounds, and now we need to go to auto here, hit play. Okay, I think that was a success. After a while I had to work out that I had to change a few settings in here, and I had to change this here, and yeah. There's a couple of little issues that I've got to investigate. Like there was that ground loop noise I was getting, and it could be related to these being plugged into DCs. It definitely won't have ground loop noise if it's all running on battery. I don't think anyway. But yeah, as a portable setup, I mean this is pretty neat, to be honest with you. You might notice that I can launch this Arturia Audio Fuse app whenever I want, just by hitting this button here. And that's really handy because the panel here doesn't tell everything about what's going on, and sometimes you need to see what's going on in here. This didn't actually give me the answer to why I was having those audio problems before, but just changing the driver in Ableton to ASIO, just changing it to the ASIO driver, bang, no problem at all. It just fixed everything. So yeah, I wonder what the radio sounds like in this thing. Is that where the radio goes there? I can never remember. Anyway.
The ACRAS is the Australian Commercial Radio Awards. It's our version of the...
Sean, who presses the button.
Arrogant. You have to go through what you think your best audio is and send it in.
We might as well just send them everything. Just send them like the whole year.
You only got to send them 60 seconds.
Yeah, but the whole year's great. How are you going to pick 60, you know?
That works fine. Brilliant. Okay. Well, I'm actually quite happy with this setup. In fact, as a little mobile setup, this is actually pretty cool, you know. There's actually another 2 inputs on this at the back as well. So we could plug, well, you don't even have to come out of the OP-1 stereo if you don't want to. You could come out mono. You could have 4 inputs on this, 4 separate inputs, or 2 stereo inputs. That's cool. So I'm just thinking about usability and whether this is good. When I was recording, once I sorted out all the audio problems, when I was recording on this, it was pretty glitch free. I can hear the fan on this, but that's okay. You're not going to hear it in a recording because it's only picking it up through my mic here. But this was just my first try, and you saw it was warts and all using Ableton. I mean, it was a really shocking musical thing, so thumbs down on the musical thing, but really just trying to quickly get stuff in and just trying it out. And now we've got recorded MIDI, recorded audio. It's working beautifully. I think for people on a budget, this is an excellent starter. I mean, this is what, $300 used, these things. You obviously you don't have to have an OP-1. If you've got one, then great. Anything here would have been okay. An MPC Live is battery powered. A Volca is battery powered, so that would be cool. But the good thing about this OP-1 is it can also be charged off of the AudioFuse through the USB port. So I can run 3 devices off of that. Because it's acting as a hub, I'm also getting the OP-1 showing up as a MIDI device. That is really cool. So now I've got an audio device that also acts as a USB hub, and I can use that as a controlling MIDI device. So let's turn the audio off there. I mean, that's another thing you could do. Another thing you could do also is plug a key step into this, because you just plug it into the USB. There's 3 USB ports here at the back. You could plug a key step into here, and this has also got MIDI. So, or you could plug a Beatstep in. In fact, why don't we try the Beatstep? I reckon that might be a good idea. Let's get rid of the OP-1 for now, and we'll try the Beatstep and see if we can use the Beatstep to sequence this drum track here. So let's say goodbye to the OP-1. Turn the Beatstep on. And it's found the Beatstep. So once it's finished setting that up, which it says it has, we can now go into here, preferences, and tell that we want the Beatstep to be these. So now I've got a complete Ableton controlled by the Beatstep. And obviously I can program sequences in here, or I can program sequences on here, and it makes it so much more fluid. That's really, really cool. And once again, this Beatstep is powered off of this Arturia Fuse. Yeah, this is actually starting to grow on me, this whole Surface idea. The ability just to have this touch screen and, you know, just to get tracks in something that's reasonably portable is actually really growing on me. I like this. At the moment, I don't feel there's any issues with the recordings. So to me, they sound fine. Anyway, this video has been going for a while now. So I think we need to explore this more as a channel. What do you guys want to see me do with this setup? All right, you know, hardware synths, software synths, more effects, plugins, VSTs, different devices plugged in to the USB hub here, multiples. Where do you want me to go with this? And you know, what sort of things are you interested in? Let's not argue about this being a lower spec computer and it's going to bottom out because there's not enough memory and there's not enough CPU power. It's only got 8 gig of memory. You have to be aware that this has limitations, this particular model. If you're going to have 8 gig of memory and a Core i5 2.4 gigahertz CPU dual core, this thing is only going to be able to handle, you know, there's a video out on what this thing can handle. So go check that out. But if you're thinking about just laying down a few tracks in a mobile sort of environment,